Welcome to this episode of UXD. This is the second episode of a three-part series where we will focus on how to make location-based information glanceable and easy to consume for users on the go who are using location-based apps that use maps. I'm your host, Nazmal Idris, a developer advocate passionate about design and mobile. In part one, I talked about how important it is to understand the user context when building and designing location-based applications. Typically, research and planning tasks are done on tablets and laptops, and smartphones tend to be used on the go for execution tasks. And those users using smartphones tend to be quite busy doing other things, and they can be very distracted as a result. Not only do we have to take the human hand into account and optimize these interactions or the interaction design for single-handed use, we also have to take the user's brain into account. We have to make sure that our designs minimize or reduce the cognitive load they place on the user. To get in the right mindset, just picture yourself at an airport, pulling a bag with one hand, trying to find a place to get coffee on the way to your gate using your smartphone. Now let's pick apart this use case. Let's say that you use a location-based app at the airport to search for coffee shops, and it returns too many results that are nearby. How do you quickly absorb this information and then select the right coffee place for you? I mean, you're not just using this application because you're bored at the airport. You want your coffee now. So this is where managing the user's attention comes into play. Their attention is a very limited resource to begin with. And in this context, which is they're distracted, there's a time crunch, and they're at an airport, you can use even less of it than you normally can. So to this end, don't clutter the map with too many results. That is, don't present too many results by showing too many markers in the map view. The user has limited attention. They're distracted. And so they should not be overwhelmed with too many results that they will have a hard time parsing. You don't want to confuse abundance with choice. Choice is good, abundance not so much. If you have different types of markers, make sure to give a way for users to understand the differences. It's important to give the user context around what each type of marker actually means. And also don't put too much information on the map itself. This makes it difficult for the user to touch a specific marker, especially with thumbs. The minimum touch target should be 48 dips, but also allocate some space for padding around each marker. And don't pack too much information into an info window. The info window shows the details of a place represented by pushpin on the map. So how do you balance the need to display many results with the need to consume as little of the user's attention as possible? Now, allowing the user to filter results is a great way to give them the information they need without overwhelming their divided attention with too many results. For example, let's say you have a location-based travel app. Some filtering fields might include price, proximity, availability, and rating. So you might have to adapt what these fields are based on the type of location-based app that you're building. You can use the action bar to provide them with access to this filtering capability. And this allows them to slice and dice the results by their desired fields, which gives them choice and control. This also frees up the application surface area for content and allows you to present as large of a map as possible, which is a good thing. Yet another advantage of filtering is that it restricts the number of markers that are displayed on the map. This makes it possible for a user to actually see the map and visually recognize where they are and where places on the map are in the real world. Big maps work hand in hand with this as well. Finally, reducing the number of markers removes the occlusion of underlying info in the base map, like streets, bridges, neighborhoods, and so on. Another way to reduce clutter and respect the user's attention is to sort the results by relevance and emphasize the most relevant ones while de-emphasizing the less important ones. For example, if the user searches for coffee shops in your location-based app, you can sort the results by proximity and then highlight the top result in a big way. And then the next 10 results might be clumped together and shown with smaller markers, so de-emphasized a little bit. And finally, the rest of the results might be shown with really small markers to really de-emphasize them. So while these results are irrelevant, they might be useful for context around the search. So a user can deduce, for example, that there's a lot of shops at the location where the results are clumped. You can also allow the user to provide their own criteria for sorting as well, similar to what you do for filtering. The difference between sorting and filtering is that sorting does not remove any results, whereas filtering might. So you want to use both. So additionally, when the user selects a result, try using a view pager to display more information on that marker. This is better than popping up an info window or a dialog that hovers in front of the UI and obscures the results behind it. In this view pager, you can allow the user to cycle through the results simply by swiping back and forth on the bottom of the screen. And this makes it really easy to navigate the sorted results. And as a bonus, it works for single-handed use as well. One other way to reduce clutter and deliver glanceable information to the user is to use clustering. What's clustering? This is where nearby and overlapping places are actually combined together into a single icon, showing the number of results contained in it, rather than drawing one marker per result. It's a visual cue to the user to drill down into and get more information on the individual results. And this has the added benefit of not obscuring the base map and the detailed information the base map contains, which is a good thing. This is great for showing the user where these results are tightly correlated to an actual location. For example, if you search for hotels in San Francisco in a location-based travel app, you will see lots of grouping of results in North Beach, which might signal to the user that it's a good tourist spot. Now, clustering does not replace the need for emphasizing or de-emphasizing or sorting and filtering. All these techniques should be used together. And as a bonus, you can use the Google Maps Android API utility library in order to implement clustering. Finally, you can use a variety of different marker types, colors, and even overlays to convey extra information to your users at a glance. You can use colors and objects to convey information about a place. You can provide information overlaid on the markers themselves. For example, a location-based travel app, in a location-based travel app, you can actually display the price of hotel rooms nearby by actually writing that on top of the marker itself. Now, make sure to provide there's a key that the users can use to understand what these different colors and objects actually mean. That's all the time we have today. In the next episode, part 3, I'll talk about the environmental factors that might affect the UX that you should keep in mind when designing and building great location-based applications. If you haven't already, please be sure to join our UX community on Google+. It's a place where we can continue this discussion and you can meet other people who are just as passionate as user experience as you are. Thanks for watching and goodbye.